Hey, let's go live to Benalla in regional Victoria. The Leader of the Nationals in the Senate, Bridget McKenzie, joins me as she does every week. What have you been up to this Anzac Day?
Well, Kieran, I started the day in Wodonga for our dawn service, where we would have had in excess of 3,000 locals turned out with prayers of peace, the ode of remembrance, and obviously messages about the diggers and their fight for justice, freedom and peace since the Anzac to the modern day. And here in Benalla, we did the same again. And I think your earlier correspondents actually talked about the number of young people out on Anzac Day. And I think it's so powerful to have them here, hearing the stories from today's ADF and hearing these stories and the legends of previous servicemen and women who, you know, made the ultimate sacrifice and have fought for the values that we hold so dear here in Australia.
Yeah, and at a time when there can be arguments on all sorts of issues, it's a unifying thing, isn't it? It's a unifying thing for Australia. You've got the Prime Minister at Kokoda alongside the PNG PM. You've got the opposition leader in Brisbane at the dawn service. You there in regional Victoria. It's a wonderful thing that we have in our nation that we need to protect, don't we, as part of what is a key part of the fabric of our country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think part of both of the speeches that I heard today was not glorifying war, being quite realistic about the impact of war on communities, on individuals, and indeed sometimes to acknowledge that war is necessary to protect the things we hold dear, and to see all walks of life, all ages come together as one community. I think you're right, given what we've been experiencing here in Australia over the past month or so in terms of the fractiousness in some of our suburbs and capital cities in particular. A day like today gives us a chance to pause and reflect and think outside of ourselves about selflessness and how we can emulate the behaviour of our servicemen and women over the decade.
Yeah, indeed, and that core thing that showed up on the Sandakan death marches, or in Gallipoli, or in Kokoda, wherever you want to say, or Afghanistan, the mateship that was there by and large for diggers and among diggers, I think is a wonderful thing that we can embrace as well.
Absolutely. It's so quintessentially Australian. One of the speeches today talked about Rommel, the feared German general, and how he sort of made this famous quote that if he needed to take hell, he'd use Australians to take it and New Zealanders to hold it. And I think that really goes to the tenacity and the courage of the Australian defence personnel. Obviously shown through World War I, but in every single conflict since then. But also, there's a bit of larrikin there as well. Don't take themselves too seriously once the job's done. And I think that is quintessentially the Australian culture more broadly, which is something we can also celebrate now that remembrance is done and everyone can get to their local RSL, have a beer and some tour.
Yeah, we'll let you do that as well. Thanks for dialing in from Benalla. It looks a bit windy. Thanks for braving the elements.
Thanks, Kieran.